Welcome to English Podcast.
Welcome to a learntolearn.org podcast. We are here to support your learning, taking off the limits that we have accrued to our learning and adding in those ingredients that we've learned from world-class learners that have made them the best, so that we can each update our own programming and become the best learners that we can be. We're really glad that you're here to share some time with us. We hope that this brings you exactly what you need today to better engage in your life and your learning. So let's just take a minute to set the framework for this podcast. Overall, we're doing a series on the importance of our imagery, our capacity to make images that support us, and why we would want to do that. We started last podcast, and we're picking up again the concept about perspectives and having multiple perspectives on any given thing, any given idea, any given experience, and the importance of that. We certainly talked last time about how having multiple perspectives broadens our understanding, gives us an in-depth view and comprehension of what something is, how things are working. We also talked about how multiple perspectives enhances our ability to think critically. And we began to explore some exercises to develop that capacity in our brains. And we're going to go much further with all of these today. We want to start our exploration today with something that may be somewhat obvious to most of us, but can be refined so much further and provide so many more rewards as we do that. This has to do with how do we explore the point of view of those around us. What some people would call walking in somebody else's shoes. So often when we get in a back and forth with somebody, we're very much limiting our perspective to our own point of view. Our ego is saying, this is right, this is what's true, my way is the way. And we don't stop and really milk, if you will, that other perspective that this other person is bringing, which often will tremendously enrich our lives. This could be a perspective that somebody else has in terms of something we're learning, or in terms of worldviews or behaviors, or almost anything where somebody else has another way of perceiving something. If we stop, pause, and look through their eyes and ask ourselves sincerely, why would they believe this? And sometimes it's a stretch, and sometimes it comes easily. But as we do that, a whole nother view of the world opens up to us. And that develops a capacity that is tremendously beneficial. Maybe we never end up agreeing at all with them, but we understand something differently. And very often we end up finding that there is something in their viewpoint that actually enriches us. Beyond that, doing this develops a capacity in our brain to look at the world in a multitude of ways for all the benefits we've covered up to now and many of the benefits that we will arrive at as we go further. Think of someone that has a very different point of view than what you have about something. Don't start with the hardest one. Don't start with the one that you go, no way, never. But somebody that just has a somewhat different point of view. And really commit yourself for a couple minutes to exploring their world. How do they see it? How do they feel about it? What do they think? Why do they come at it that way? What experiences might have led them to that? And what's it like to look through their eyes, feel through their heart, explore through their being, their sense of the world? This is how we cultivate empathy, compassion, and respect for others. We realize through this the complexity that's behind different opinions. This connection to these alternate mindsets improves, amongst other things, social cohesion and communication. It literally improves our society and our place within that. It lets us connect to other people in ways that make our life much richer, much more meaningful, and much more engaging. Next, let's think about developing this capacity for multiple viewpoints in terms of problem solving. Our ability to do this catalyzes our capacity for problem solving. When you aim to solve challenges by flexibly shifting your mental viewpoint, it opens up possibilities that you cannot see from a rigid single point of view. Or maybe you have multiple views, but not the full range of multiple views. Rotating perspective sparks new and creative connections that can lead to innovative solutions. If we look at all great breakthroughs through history, all of them came from developing an alternate point of view to the ones that whoever that person that made the breakthrough was. If we think back to, the story of Newton and how he came to understand physics in a new way, that new way came because he went, here's another way to do it. If we think about some of the great innovations in the world of entrepreneurship, we see that those people involved took a problem that everybody else continued to see the same way as they always had, and they had that aha moment. They looked at it from another point of view. If we look at something like Airbnb or Uber or on, all of those came because somebody went, wow, what if we looked at it differently? This is the very essence of what we're talking about. If you want to be an effective entrepreneur, or if you want to make the next great scientific breakthrough, or you want to change your life to make it more meaningful, or you just want to be better at learning, developing, cultivating this capacity for multiple viewpoints is all important. It is at the heart of that. So let's think for a moment about an exercise that we might do to, again, further enhance this capacity. Set up a small discussion group. Now, this could be you just do it with a friend, or this could be a discussion group in a classroom, or if you're in a company, this could be a group of people that are there to solve some problem or develop some new capacity. And then debate a given subject in that small group, each taking on a different role, and then rotate the perspectives. So if first you're arguing it, presenting a view from one side of the equation, what if you take another role and the person that was taking that role takes yours or takes somebody else's, and you shift going around those various perspectives so that you try on each of those and see what comes out of it, both for the group and how that develops this capacity for you and for each of the people in that group. Now, this can be really fun to do, and it also obviously is a very powerful way to generate new perspectives, capacities, outcomes. Now, if you're on your own and you don't have a group to do it with, do an imaginary group and try on each of the people's perspective in there. And from each perspective, as you step into it, present your point of view. Why would you, from that perspective, argue that point of view? And then what happens when you've done 2 or 3 or 4 of those on your own? Again, that group can be entirely within your own consciousness. So that also is very powerful and is often what the great innovators do. If we take somebody like Albert Einstein, you can see as he describes the process that he went through to develop the theories of relativity and special theories and such, that he would try on many different points of view. He would consider what people that opposed his point of view would say, and then he would try on something very different to that as well. Again and again, we want to emphasize the fun of this, how enjoyable it is, and how good the brain feels when it is adding to its capacity. In the same way that a young child gets so excited by learning a new thing, part of that being because the brain generates a whole bevy of chemistry as it develops different capabilities. As we do this, our brain also does that. It just feels good to explore and develop new points of view. We'll pick up from here next time.
Thank you for listening. Our purpose is supporting your capacity to learn and to attain all that you can imagine. We hope you use the perspectives and exercises that we have shared. Feel free to send us questions, ideas, experiences that might benefit our listeners via learntolearn.org, learn-to-learn.org. Finally, please help others by sharing our link with your friends, family, and other loved ones, since how you learn is how you live.